He said it because of his wet blanket energy.
Unhinged. That's actually unhinged.
Hey guys, welcome to Sound Off in the comments below. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jackie.
And Sound Off in the comments below is where you guys submit the topics that we talk about, and we're going to read about them, and we're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, guys, pardon my barren appearance behind me. I'm like trying a new space where I record our podcast, and I've been like rearranging my apartment and moving furniture in all different places to figure out like what makes the most sense, because I don't have a lot of space. But if I like this setup, then I'll put a little something here that'll be a little bit more colorful. But I just feel like it's so... Stephanie said she liked it with the buildings in the background, but I just feel like it's a little too barren. It needs to be more fun. But I like this setup more for my own sanity.
Sound off in the comments below. Do you like Jackie's first setup or her new setup?
Yeah, but for context, guys, the first setup, I moved my desk and everything where my kitchen table used to be, and then I had to move my kitchen table like into my living room, and it just like didn't make sense for my own life. Because then I would walk into my apartment and not have a kitchen table to like dump things on, and I need to dump. You know what I mean?
Right. This podcast is taking over your life, quite literally.
I know.
Also, we ran into a lot of technical difficulties right before we got on this call.
I know. So no offense, we're in a bad mood.
Yeah, we're pissed because we just spent like 20 minutes. Our audio and everything was messed up. And you would think after doing it for 3 years, like this stuff wouldn't happen. But like, this is why I don't like technology, because there's no reason for it to go wrong. It just goes wrong.
And also, I didn't sleep last night. I'm really like in a horrible mood. So hopefully this episode will turn my frown upside down.
Yes, as it does. It will.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, there's some kind of interesting stories. One of the ones that we've been written about a lot is Guy and his Butterfinger scandal. So did you see this TikTok of this girl that went on a date with Guy?
I did, but like, can we listen to it again just because I want to remember the specifics? Because when I first watched it, someone posted it in our Facebook group, I think. I feel like my take is going to be unpopular, and I don't want to be some like Guy apologist, but I think this woman was kind of reaching to be like, wow, this guy's horrible, he's awful, when I think the reality of the situation was just they had like an awkward bad date. But it's not like... Right, they just like she was saying he did like some gross things. All right,
for the people that don't know,
first, guys, and then I will tell you how I feel.
If you don't know what happened, you're in for a treat. So
yeah, I think you are.
I dated the second runner-up on the Golden Bachelor. Let's get into it. But first, Joan, you dodged a huge bullet, girl. Good for you. We went on a total of 2 dates. The first date went fine. We went to a wine bar. Totally casual. It was a good date. I liked him. Our second date, we decided to go to the movies, and I did a big no-no, ladies. I let him pick me up. We decided to go to the Elvis movie, and please keep that in the back of your mind, because towards the end, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So we got our popcorn with butter, which I just love. Ladies, I know you're feeling me.
I wonder if she paid the 25 cents extra to get the jumbo unlimited popcorn.
Oh, yeah. She does not say that in the story. That is
she does not.
Context.
Also, I'm sorry, before we continue, if you're watching this, guys, is this not like April? This is like April's twin sister.
I told you April and Guy made a good pair. I just think like aesthetically they look like they go together, and this woman does look a lot like April.
Okay,
I do agree.
This is April and Amanda Stanton, like combined.
Kind of.
This is like Amanda Stanton's mom. Okay?
Yeah. Stunning woman.
And we sit down. Previews haven't even started. They begin. I'm eating my popcorn, and all of a sudden he takes my hands and he proceeds to start licking my fingers. And I'm thinking, oh my God, did he really just do this without even knowing me? Yes, he did. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, the movie hasn't even started yet, and I've got to sit here. I'm so uncomfortable at this point. I get through the movie, and he drives me home. And I'm thinking, oh God, just let me get home safely.
Like my ADHD in me like wants the story to move along quicker. I can't.
Well, she does really drag it out.
She really drags it out.
Can I just say why?
Yeah.
didn't she say when he was licking her fingers,
Like, stop.
like, don't do that. I'm not into that.
Also, how buttery were your fingers? Because, I mean,
Also,
she doesn't
some
specify.
people are into that. Like, they are on a date. I don't know.
Right. Well, she talks about how buttery the popcorn was, and then says he goes to town on her fingers. She doesn't specify, like, was he trying to help you out because you didn't have napkins?
No, I think he was trying to like set the scene for like a little sexual moment. And I get that that's uncomfortable. But she should have just said like, hey, can you not lick my fingers?
Right. Like, how did you respond, April/Amanda?
All right, play more.
Okay, so I don't feel like we're getting the full story here.
He walks me to my door, and yep, he's like, I need to use your restroom. Do you mind? So basically, ladies, he's now in my house.
Okay, so clearly they were not like sexually compatible because he was licking her fingers and she wasn't into it, but she didn't say anything. And then he said, hey, can I use your restroom? Do you mind? And then she's like, and then he was in my apartment. So clearly she said, sure, come in and use the restroom. She didn't like, because she could have just been like, you know what? No, I really didn't have a good time. I don't think we're compatible. Like, have a good night. Or it could have just been like, hey, yes, you can use the restroom, but then I'm going to go to bed. So good night, goodbye. But now she's like, whoa, now all of a sudden he's magically in my apartment. But like, he asked to use the restroom. And clearly you said yes.
She's like, ladies, you wouldn't believe it. All of a sudden he's in my living room.
Followed her into her apartment and like, this just sounds like a bad date. And like, as someone who dates in New York City, like dates are bad sometimes and they're really fucking awkward and you want to get out of there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that person is like a disgusting creep. Although he does say some creepy things at the end of this. So let's get to that because I don't want to fully like feel like I'm defending him because he definitely gets a little gross.
And some people at home may have not even heard the whole story yet. So
I know, sorry.
Let's finish.
I'm just getting ahead of myself.
Back then, my boundaries weren't so great. And I'm like, do you want a glass of water? And he goes, yeah, great.
Second problem. So you have a problem with him being in your house using your bathroom, but you're offering him a drink.
Water. And he says,
exactly.
Sure.
Say, I'm tired. You can go to the bathroom, but I'm going to go to bed.
Right. Like they are on a date and he asked to use the restroom and came into her apartment and then she offered him a glass of water. So it's like kind of like, oh, do you want to stay around a little bit? All right, continue.
Well, yeah. If I was on a date and I went into a guy's house to go to the bathroom and then he offered me a drink, I'd be like, oh, he wants to hang out. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to chug this water and then leave.
Right.
So.
All right, keep playing.
So we proceed to sit down on my couch. Cringe moment number 2. He begins then to show me videos of him singing karaoke of Elvis.
I thought you were going to say he showed you a video of him doing something else, like to himself.
Right.
I wasn't sure what the video was going to be. He's just singing karaoke? Not defending him.
You were on a date and you went to a movie and then you went back to your apartment and you offered him a glass of water and now you're sitting on the couch looking at videos on his phone and she's making it seem like the Elvis videos are like so cringe and horrible. You did just see the Elvis movie. I don't think that's that weird to be like, hey, this one time I sang Elvis karaoke. Like he's trying to bond with you. I don't think that's like creepy and weird to show someone a video of you singing karaoke after you saw the Elvis movie and he's like, oh, I love Elvis.
Right, like is it kind of cringy and awkward? Yeah, but does it make him a bad guy? No. I don't feel like we should like hate, like it's embarrassing. Yeah, like it's kind of cringy, but like.
He starts sitting a little closer and then he begins to start kissing me. I totally pull back and I'm like, you know, I don't know what type of women you're dating in Reno, but I'm not that kind of gal. He then looks at me dead serious and he says, well, can I at least see the sisters?
That's a gross thing to say to someone, especially if you're going in for the kiss, they're pulling away, clearly not into it. Respect that and then just move on.
Right. So she goes on to say that like Joan dodged a bullet. Also, there was some confusion because in the beginning of the video, she says the second runner-up, and I just feel like she doesn't understand. Well, she clarifies on TikTok. She mixed that up. She means the runner-up. So this is about Guy. People were unsure if it was about Pascal at first because Pascal was the second runner-up, not Guy.
I mean, the asking to see her sisters, I think, is absolutely inappropriate and totally over the line that I think is gross. However, all the leading up to it, the way she's acting like, and then he showed me a video of karaoke. And then he had the audacity to sit on my couch after I offered him a glass of water. It's like, I feel like she's trying to make this story like this like disgusting, horrible situation when it's like, okay, it just sounds like you guys had a bad date.
Right.
And maybe he misread some signals. Because it's not crazy to think when you go on a date with someone that maybe you would go back to their apartment and things might happen.
We don't know what happened with the finger licking, as we said. You said he licked your fingers, and then all of a sudden you're out of the movie. We have no clue what was the interaction after. Did you like pull your hand away and say like, ew, stop? In which case, yeah, it's weird of him to think that like something's going to happen between you.
Of course.
But if you like didn't let him know how you felt, and then you all of a sudden he's in your living room, like I don't think he's crazy for assuming you like him.
You're offering him a glass of water. You want him to stay.
Yeah. She did a follow-up video. I just want to make sure she doesn't say, I want to make sure he didn't say something else that like.
I'm going to share a text with you guys on another video to prove the popcorn thing was true.
Oh, okay. Great.
Because Mr. Doctor, our silly doctor, made the mistake of making a joke about
Ooh, okay, good. We wanted more context. We didn't know this was here.
Context about this. Okay. Yes, thank you. But okay, I will say she is being like a capitalist queen in the sense that she's like, I have a text, but you gotta go to the next video. Like she's really like milking these 15 minutes to really get her engagement up on all her videos. And like she's not just gonna have a one-hit wonder. She's gonna milk this for like 4 or 5 videos that all get lots of views.
So in the text, she says to him, will you go to the movies with me? He said, can I get Raisinets? She said, yes, LOL, as long as I can have popcorn with butter. Laughing face. Oh, and then he replies and says, only if I can lick your fingers. And then she like says, posted a bunch of like emojis like this and stuff. And then he goes, oh, behave. And she said, I'll try my best. Hee hee. So she's not saying no. She's not saying she doesn't like her fingers licked, guys.
I feel like Guy was trying to have a sexy, flirty moment. Mm-hmm. And if she didn't want her fingers licked, she should have been like, maybe don't do that. So I could see how from that exchange that Guy would think that she was maybe into him licking the butter off her fingers. Some people are into that. They mutually were on a second date. She liked him after the first date going to the movies. And they already previously spoke about him licking butter off her fingers. And then they went to the movies and he did just that, just as he said he would.
Right. He's a man of his word.
And she didn't say, ew, gross.
I mean, like, guys, was he wrong to say I want to see the sisters? Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's kind of where I feel like his wrongs, as I like, you're creepy, weird, we don't like that. That's where your wrongs end. I mean, maybe you're proud of your Elvis videos. Yeah, don't date him again.
Karaoke is fine.
Right.
Going in for a kiss after a second date. Okay. And then she pulled away.
Leave it there. Don't push it anymore. Like that's where that should be your story. Like he went to kiss me, I pushed him away, then he asked to see my boobs. Then in that case, it's like, ew, no, that's gross. We don't like that. All the other stuff, I kind of feel like is fair game. That's just me.
I think so too. And I do think this lady's just kind of milking it of like, you'll never believe. Yeah. And then he showed me karaoke. And it's like, okay.
So he asks to go to the bathroom. All of a sudden, he's on my couch eating chips. It's like, well, you offered him chips. Like, why are you like leaving out little details? Like, he's sitting on your couch playing karaoke videos because you gave him a drink.
Yeah.
Lady, I don't know. I don't fully see it the way you're painting it. Shall we move on, though?
I think so, but what a fun little story to break down. This holiday season, you need to make sure to keep your complexion hydrated, youthful, and clear, and you can do that with Oak Essentials. And Oak Essentials brings a simple yet luxurious approach to self-care with a lineup of clean, effective skincare and body care essentials. So these are high-performing products that elevate your daily routine, leaving your skin looking fresh, hydrated, and radiant. Also, if you're looking for something that would be a great gift for people that are really into skincare in your life, they have the body routine, and this is a complete body care system, and it includes 5 must-haves for a gorgeous, moisture-rich glow from head to toe, and it includes their Awaken Body Wash, their Perfecting Body Scrub, Dew Body Oil, and the Luminous Body Lotion, and the moisture-rich body balm. So it comes in such a stunning package too. So it's a ready to wrap gift box, or you can opt for free gift wrapping at checkout to make your holiday season that much easier and give your gift an extra special touch, which is great because I'm horrible at wrapping things. So treat yourself and your loved ones to the best gift of all, Oak Essentials. And for a limited time, our listeners can get an exclusive 15% off their first order. You guys can go to oakessentials.com and use code She'sAllBatch15 to get 15% off. This holiday season, treat yourself and your loved ones to spa quality skincare essentials that deliver a moisture-rich glow. Our listeners get 15% off their first order when you use code She'sAllBatch15 at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at oakessentials.com with promo code She'sAllBatch15. Get your best radiant skin this season with Oak Essentials. Okay, and so speaking of self-care, we obviously just told you guys about some great skincare products, but also when it comes to self-care, you could consider that a good workout or just some quiet time with a book. Everyone has their preferences when it comes to self-care, but something that we don't talk about enough is using pleasure as self-care. And yes, I'm talking about sexual wellness, and that is where Dame comes in to help. They've made it their mission to help you explore and enjoy your pleasure because that is self-care too. And we need to start talking about it and treating it like it is self-care. Dame was created by women who know that sometimes you need a little bit more than just a good night's sleep to feel fully rejuvenated. So their products are designed to help you connect with your body in a way that feels natural and, most importantly, fun. So for example, they have the product Calm, and it's a powerful external vibrator that's perfect for solo sessions, or you can add a little buzz for some fun with a partner. And if you're looking for something a bit more subtle, they have the product Fin, which is a tiny finger vibe that adds a new twist to the touch that you already know and love. So let's not forget, Dame is all about breaking the stigma around sexual wellness, and they make it super easy to find products that fit your needs to have a healthier relationship with pleasure. So if you guys are ready to take your self-care routine to the next level, you can check out dame.com and use code She'sAllBatch30 for 30% off. And trust me, it is time for some well-deserved me time.
Oh, have you been keeping up with the Liam Payne stuff since his death?
No.
Really? Guys.
Yeah.
What
is there to keep up with?
What is there not to keep up with? Okay. Guys, I've been wanting to talk on this podcast about this since he passed, because when he passed, we covered it and we briefly covered it. It was the initial news. It was like probably 2 days after he died. And I hadn't gone down the deepest rabbit hole that I live in now. I am in this rabbit hole day in, day out. I've cried, sobbed over this story. Oh my God. So, okay.
I mean, it's a tragic story, don't get me wrong, and my heart's broken for him, but what more is there other than he clearly struggled with addiction, and
there's more.
There's
so much more. There's so much more.
Okay, you tell me.
Well, first, like I said when we originally covered the news, did I know One Direction? Of course. I loved a lot of their songs. One of their songs was in my wedding video. We chose it for the party scene of my wedding video. One of their songs, Kiss You. It's one of my favorite songs that they have. Anyways, so I knew them and I liked them. I didn't know them individually, and I certainly didn't know Liam. I knew who Harry Styles was, but I didn't know the other guys individually. Since Liam's death, I've gone down a rabbit hole of his life, his career. I did not realize how brilliantly talented this guy was. But then also, One Direction, I grew up on NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. I believe you did as well. Were you big on them? By the time One Direction came out, it was past my time. It wasn't tailored to me. I was too old to really care about them. Now, since going back down this rabbit hole, I feel like I'm experiencing One Direction for the first time and realizing that they blow NSYNC and Backstreet Boys out of the water with talent. They don't take themselves so seriously. Their music is so good, but they are so entertaining and so talented. So anyway, I've just learned a lot more about the band and specifically Liam, and there's just stuff about the death that doesn't make sense now. So there's been so many different stories. For example, one, he's in Argentina. He flew to Argentina to go see Niall, who's from One Direction, in concert. And literally he's at the concert and people in real time were making fun of him, saying the only reason why you're there is because you're trying to milk other people's fame, being really cruel to him up until the day he died, which that whole part of the story as an empath breaks my soul that he was dealing with that up until the day he dies. And then like little things about the story that doesn't make sense. For example, he has this Rolex and he wears it all the time. He wore it throughout his entire time in Argentina. But when he fell, he wasn't wearing it and now no one can find it. It's like, who stole your watch that's worth, how much is the Rolex worth? Like, I don't even know.
Tens
of thousands of dollars. Why just when you fell, you weren't wearing it, but literally every other time you were spotted, you were wearing it? That seems suspect to me.
And no one knows. It wasn't in the hotel room, nowhere.
No. And the dad has been, they just were able to fly his remains back to where he lives only recently. He died October 16th. They've been doing all this investigation. They had to do like the toxicology report and all this stuff. So the dad has been there. He had to identify the body. There was confirmation that the sister found out through like TMZ. She got like an alert on her phone.
I know. I
which,
did
like,
know that, and that's so messed up.
I knew we assumed it, but like I didn't know that was real. So the dad had to be there, and the dad was like, "Where's his Rolex? This is actually like a sentimental thing. It's like I think it's maybe a family heirloom or something." And he's like been doing this investigation. They don't know where it is. Now they're looking into the people he saw up until he died. There's 3 people that are under arrest. Someone from the hotel is being either arrested or charged. I don't know like the legality, like if you're charged versus being arrested, but someone from the hotel's in trouble for apparently giving him drugs. There's other guy who he met in Argentina. And then this guy, Roger, who was supposedly his manager, but now this manager is not allowed to go to the funeral because the family like doesn't want him there. And he's getting charged with abandonment before death, because he saw him 40 minutes before. And basically, like, the whole story of Liam is that he was in this hotel lobby. He punched his computer because he apparently got bad news right before he died, which people say it was that his label dropped him because his solo career wasn't really taking off like he wanted it or they wanted it. There's stories that he was in the lobby convulsing. There's stories he was in the lobby saying like really erratic. He was having erratic behavior, being really unusual. So then this guy Roger, leaves him. So they're like, well, you left 40 minutes before he died. Like, why would you leave him? If someone was in that state, why do you leave him? He's literally being charged and may go to jail for that. So finally, someone from the hotel room.
But when did he start taking the drugs? I'm assuming like he got this news, was having a horrible like experience, and then goes into this hotel room and takes a bunch of drugs.
So
and that's how he dies.
There's been different
And should
reports.
the people who saw him right before that be responsible for that? Like, I understand that especially if he had a history of addiction, like they should have known that that's like maybe a path he would go down. But I don't know if you can control that if someone is like it's a disease, you know?
Where it's confusing though, because I'm sure you saw the initial toxicology report where they released and said he had pink cocaine in his system and all this crazy stuff. There's been a second one and they said that wasn't true. So like there's been a lot of misinformation. So I'm not even quite sure like what exactly he was on. I believe he was on something. However, the story that's not adding up to me is that the final time they bring him up to his room, someone brings him up because he was convulsing, punching shit in the lobby, like just being erratic. Bring him up to his room. Then you just like close the door and let this guy go in his room with a balcony. They're saying the way he fell and the injuries he had, like there's a report that's saying that he received 25 injuries, and there's a doctor who's saying you would not get 25 injuries from falling from a balcony. There are people that believe that something may have happened before he fell. And there are also reports saying that it's likely that he was unconscious when he fell. At first, I was like, okay, like he was so drugged up, maybe he was unconscious. He fell, he didn't realize. I guess that's the silver lining, that he didn't know, like he was gonna fall and die.
Yeah.
But then it's like, wait, so if someone walked him up to his hotel room and closed the door, how the fuck, if he's unconscious, how did he walk to the balcony, open the door, and lean over the balcony and fall? And then where was your watch? There's like a lot of things about the story that like, okay, well, if all this is true, how did this happen? That part. Like, and then like the injuries he has, you wouldn't have gotten them from falling. So where did you get them? And
but
if people
he's
were
punching stuff and he's convulsing and like maybe wasn't he also punching stuff in the hotel room too? I think I read that somewhere. So like he's clearly like not in his right mind and is like,
I don't know,
having an episode. Yeah, I don't know. No, that is really interesting though, especially the thing with the watch.
Yeah, because
I don't think it's
someone took it off your
though
hand.
To expect though that like someone stole the watch, right? Like how many people either saw him right before or after this happened, you see a dead body there, like the hotel staff or whoever, but there's a $10,000+ watch. People are terrible. I'm not saying that's right, but that like people are terrible people. Right. That they would just steal it.
And then there are like things about the hotel, like they didn't release a statement at first, like when he died, because they were afraid, which I put myself in their shoes and I'm like, dude, what the hell would you say? Like, what would you announce? Like, oh yeah, like a huge pop star just fell to his death at our hotel. And like one of our staffers gave him drugs. Like obviously like, but that's suspicious. And then apparently the dad is super suspicious of everything going on because originally they're like, oh, we don't have footage. We don't have any video footage. Something happened with the cameras and like super shady. And then like weeks later, like, oh wait, we have video footage now. Just like really odd that I'm not buying it. And when we originally covered it.
What is your theory that you think happened?
I don't
That this
know.
was like a murder, like a staged thing? Or what I'm hearing and what I'm kind of concluding is obviously a hotel doesn't know how to like deal with a situation like this and they're scared of getting in trouble and a lawsuit and liability. So I could see why they wouldn't release that footage immediately and would be like trying to be covering things up.
Release it to the dad and to investigators though, to police. Like no one's, the video is not public, like him falling or anything. That would never be public unless it's like TMZ. And but the dad didn't even get it for weeks. Like there were people that were investigating the story and like they weren't getting it. Then there's another theory. So someone from the hotel calls 911 and apparently it's when he's being walked up the last time. And they call 911 and they said there's a guest who's very destructive. We're nervous. He has a balcony in his room and we're nervous about what can happen to him. And there is a theory of when was that call made? Was that call made after? Because why would you jump to that? Like the fact that you said it and then moments later it came true, no one thinks that's weird.
A guest said that?
No, like the guy calling 911 said you have to send someone. No, I know, but I'm saying
the person calling 911 was a guest who witnessed this happening and was like, "Whoa, this is weird."
It's a hotel worker apparently.
Oh, I see.
Calls 911 and says you need to come here. There's a guest who's erratic and he has a balcony and we're nervous that something will happen to him. And then literally moments later, he fell off the balcony. So people are like, "When was the call made? Did you just make the call to cover your ass?" There's just a lot going on
I guess
here.
though, like, what are they covering?
I don't know, Jackie. That's what we need to find out. There's too many shady things here.
Yeah, but I think the main thing that no one is disputing or arguing is that he was clearly very unwell and in a very erratic state and was taking drugs. So, like, the fact that this happened...
It's just really crazy.
It's so sad and so tragic and so scary. But like,
guys, I've been like obsessed.
I don't know if it's like so like out of the blue to think that this would have been the result if that was the way he was acting and people saw him right before that acting in that way. Then he gets put alone in a hotel room and a tragedy happens.
Well, people
granted,
were also
he probably should have never been left alone in that hotel room. And the people who are seeing him...
That's why the manager is being charged with abandonment before death because, yeah, he shouldn't have been alone. And I guarantee you if he wasn't alone, he wouldn't have fallen off the balcony. But also, whose responsibility is it to, like, know that someone's going to, like, go into their hotel room and do... I don't know.
...a bunch of drugs and, like, fall off a balcony, you know?
I don't know. That part is scary because it's like, well... Damn, what if like I'm around someone and then like an hour later they die? Like, am I responsible?
You don't know what's gonna right, exactly. And you can't control then what they do once you close that door.
I just think for the person that's saying they saw him convulsing and they thought it was a good idea to walk him up to his room and close the door. Convulsing, that you need an ambulance. Why not keep him in the lobby until the ambulance comes and then take him away? Like, why bring him up to a room? And then people are also speculating like he just wanted to get out of his room. He didn't want to be in his room. They kept bringing him back up to his room. Was he going over the balcony because he was trying to get down? But then they say he was unconscious. So like I'm like, well, which is it?
But maybe no one knows. That's the thing. Like was he not alone in this hotel room? And maybe they thought he would be safe there, right? Like someone's having an episode.
Yeah.
And like where do you put them? Besides calling 911 and maybe getting an ambulance
I would
involved.
get an ambulance. Yeah. I don't know. I've just been going down such a rabbit hole of this story. I've learned so much about One Direction. I'm like the biggest One Direction fan now. And I've also like related to people online who are saying like they didn't say, like same boat as me. They didn't necessarily follow him while he was alive, but like have since learned so much. And now like I almost feel like guilty that I didn't know who he was when he was here because he was so talented and he did have so much to offer. And like, I am sad that his solo career didn't take off the way the other guys did. I don't get why it didn't. Like, in my opinion, he was the most talented, like truly. They are all very talented. But like, I just feel so, this one's hitting different. And it's weird that out of all like celebrities it could be, it's one I didn't even know. But like, guys, like I've like sobbed over the story. And I think it's just because there's so many like moving parts to it. It's not just like
when he's so young
died.
too.
Yeah.
You know, like it's horrible.
And I just hate like the internet was so mean to him. I just
Yeah, because not only was he so young when he passed, like he was in the public eye from such a young age too. And it really does break my heart when we hear stories about like literal children being let down by adults that are supposed to be like supporting them and protecting them. And especially in the entertainment industry, I think we see that a lot where kids are just like not protected for the sake of like other people profiting off of them or like just like exploiting talented kids who just want to like live their dreams and pursue their art. And they're just like slowly like chipped away at. It's really, really sick.
Can I add to one thing that like he was getting shit for apparently from I'm learning all the lore. I'm learning what was like the fandom doing prior to his death. And something he got shit for a lot was like reliving One Direction too much. Like he cared too much that he was in like the world's most popular band. He wanted too much to go back in time and relive it. But then like actually going down and like seeing just how popular they were, like they broke records that like previously only the Beatles had broken. Like they were huge. I didn't realize like I would say they're bigger than NSYNC and Backstreet, but now I maybe am being biased. Am I? I don't know. But like,
no, I think they maybe were, but we were a little bit too old for like the frenzy of it. Yeah,
totally. But I'm like, wait, so like I watched a video of this kid like standing up on like they were on top of a building or something, and literally all you see in the distance is like easily 100,000 people like outside just waiting to see them outside in the street. And I'm like, wait, so this kid lived that life, then was now in a life of like he was obviously still famous, but not nearly to the level that he was when he was in the band. And people are making fun of him for reminiscing about like he accomplished something none of you will accomplish. Like we're really hating on someone. I just don't understand. Like, how do you hate on someone for wanting to like be back at the greatest time of his life? Why was that worth making fun of someone? And to know that like, this is so dark. Sorry that we're like going here, but like that's what he knew of before he passed, that like people were literally making fun of him for that. Cruel. But praised Harry Styles and Niall and all the other guys who had better solo careers. Maybe they had better management. Like I'm just like so angry about how this all went down, and I can't stop thinking about it. It's been a month now.
Wow. I've learned so much in the past
really? Because I've been wanting to talk about this for weeks.
Well, no,
but
I'm like, glad we are talking about it.
Okay, good. But every day, I mean, when I was editing last week and you were like, oh, is Wicked all over your TikTok? In my head, I was like, my entire TikTok is Liam Payne. Like that's so crazy because
I none of my TikTok is Liam. So now I've learned so much.
Because you train it. Yeah, you have to train it. And like I see all like old One Direction stuff now, like when they first started on X Factor and like the whole journey. I know their whole life now.
Yeah.
But I'm very invested in what happens, and I don't think this is the end. Like because the investigation's ongoing.
Right.
And I need answers. So
okay,
I'll keep you guys posted. If anyone cares to the level that I do, and if you can relate at all, like not being a fan previously, but now being very invested, sound off in the comments below.
Yes, please.
Sorry, that was a huge rant.
No, that was amazing.
We had no other topics today.
I learned so much. Well,
okay, good.
Something, speaking of TikTok timelines, mine is obviously so much Wicked, but also recently, do you care about aliens? Because I have a lot of TikToks about the aliens in the ocean. That? We have told you guys how much we love Blissy and sleeping on Blissy pillowcases. And I honestly think it's been super essential for me in these colder months, as the weather starts to get colder and we start using heat in our homes or apartments, I find that it just makes my hair and my skin feel really dry and really brittle. But I honestly think my Blissy pillowcase has made that so much better. My hair has honestly never felt or looked better, super shiny. With Blissy pillowcases, you get better sleep, better hair, and better skin on Blissy's award-winning 100% mulberry silk pillowcases. And if you haven't used silk pillowcases before, I highly recommend you guys check it out. Blissy's silk is the best thing you can do for your hair and skin. It reduces frizz, tangles, and it even helps prevent hair thinning. It also helps reduce blemishes and the appearance of fine lines, and that's because the silk is super smooth to the touch, so it preserves your hairstyle, and its material is moisture wicking. So if you guys are like me, I put a lot of skincare products on my face when I sleep at night, and the best thing about using a silk pillowcase is that that pillowcase is not going to be absorbing your products. The products are going to stay on your face, which is where we want them to be. Blissy's been featured on Good Morning America, The View, Live with Kelly and Mark, and it's dermatologist recommended. Basically, everybody loves Blissy. They have over 2 million fans, and you could be another one of their fans. Because you're a listener, Blissy is offering a 60-night risk-free plus additional 30% off when you shop at blissy.com/batch30. That's Blissy, BLISSY.com/batch30, and use code batch30 to get an additional 30% off. Your skin and hair will thank you.
Wait,
they're in the ocean.
Why are they in the ocean? Why? Why?
Well, why not? I mean, it's a great place to hide because, like, we
can't go
I think
in
I
it.
said this on a previous episode that, like, we know more about space than we do about the ocean. It's that deep and it's that big. And apparently, literally, it's crazy to me that, like, these conversations are happening before Congress and everyone's like, who cares? I still need to pay my rent. And I'm like,
What do you mean
wait,
before
but, like,
Congress?
Congress,
Like
so
in
these
Congress? I don't know.
No, these
what do you
men
mean?
who are, I don't even know necessarily their background, but they're like Navy people, like official people are testifying before Congress, literally saying, yes, we have seen that there are like alien bases in the ocean and we've seen their UFOs come in and out of the ocean. They're down there. And like a year ago, some other guy testified. This was the first time, I think, ever before Congress, some guy testified and was like, he was like some pilot or some army fighter pilot, something that he had seen UFOs flying in a way that's just like not physically possible for our current technology. It was like a little tic tac that can go doo, 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 and it can change direction incredibly fast, which like our planes, our technology can't do that, right? Like if you're turning a plane, it has to go and like really like loop around. You can't just like do on a plane.
Okay.
And then he said that the government has remains of the people flying these objects and they are not human remains. And this man is saying this in front of Congress and everyone was taking him seriously. That was like a year ago. And now the most recent thing is they're in the ocean, which makes sense.
What are we going to do about it, though, guys? What are we going to do about these aliens?
I don't think we do anything. I think we just like know they're there and they're clearly not trying to hurt us, right? I think they're just observing. There's a theory that the aliens became more invested in us once we got nuclear technology and they're just like monitoring to make sure we don't all blow each other up.
Are you talking about like the robot like that Kim Kardashian has? Kim Kardashian has like the Tesla robot. Is that what you're referring to?
No, I'm talking about like the atomic bomb. Like literal weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, okay. Because Kim Kardashian has a Tesla robot. And
I don't think they're worried about her Tesla robot.
Well, I am.
Oh, like the I've seen like the ones that literally look like people and they just like go and do things for you.
What's stopping the robot from attacking you? Like, are we really not thinking that like all of a sudden the robot can just be like
threat. Like, are we worried about the robots attacking or are we worried about the aliens? That is
both.
Two separate things.
Yeah.
And we should be worried about both.
I feel like we should be a little more worried as a whole. We're very nonchalant
about the robots.
about
the thing
both.
is like, can we not just unplug the robots if they start attacking us? Or
That's
like
what
turn
they
them
want
off?
you to think. That's what they want you to think.
But like,
and then they have like a battery life in the back. And it like
right, like they're so
off.
AI, they're gonna get so smart that they're gonna realize that we're gonna try to turn them off, so they'll realize that they'll figure out a way to not be able to be turned off. Yeah, that's also concerning.
Right, you wake up in the middle of the night and the robot's on top of you trying to kill you. Then what?
Right.
That's not in the manual. Like what to do when your robot is attacking you.
But yeah, the aliens in the ocean thing really is crazy.
So are you going to go, which ocean? Like, are we going to even narrow down where? Every single one? The Pacific Ocean?
I think.
What about the Atlantic?
Yeah,
Every
I know
single
you were
one?
confused about those too.
Really? How deep are we going too? Like if it's really deep, then like.
No, but that's the thing is like we're not capable of getting that deep into the ocean. Like the ocean, like I don't think we can really fathom how deep it is because we've only explored like 1% of it. Isn't that actually insane when you really think about it? Because we know a lot, we think, about the ocean, but we've only explored 1%. Or I'm sure I'm not getting that right, but like it's a very low percentage. I'm gonna Google.
It's out of sight, out of mind. No, like if we're never gonna see them, one, how did the guy see them? If they're so deep, we're not going to see them.
No, because they're Navy people who are like out in the depths of the ocean the way we are not.
So
you know what I mean?
Saw them. What did they look like?
No, he's seen their technology. He said the government, first off, he said there's multiple species, I think, and the government like knows what they look like and has communicated with them and like knows what they are, but they can't release.
Like, okay, thanks.
Okay, their excuse is always that like they're not going to tell us about the aliens because they don't think we can handle it. Why do they think that? I think we are all equipped to handle it.
Yeah, trust us.
No one even cares. This is happening right now and everyone's like, okay, but I still have to pay rent. So like, shut up.
Well, people don't believe it. I don't think people believe it's actually a real thing. That's why people are nonchalant.
Oh,
I feel like
think
if
people
all of a sudden
believe it, they're just like,
but
this is in front of Congress. Congress
I don't
is
know
like,
what that means.
Or do you think they're just trying to just
what's like
the
Congress?
United States Congress,
right? But I picture like 8 old men sitting in a brown room on leather chairs, just sitting there, and a guy's like, "I saw aliens." Like that's what I picture when you say he said it in front of Congress. That means nothing to me.
Congress is like the House of Representatives. Like we just had an election where we
I
voted
know.
for people in Congress.
I know. I just don't feel like him saying it to them means all that much to me.
Well, I think what is significant to me is that like they're not laughing in his face or telling him to shut up. They're taking him. This is like hundreds of like elected United States officials that, and you can say whatever you want about like how Congress and other parts of government are like not competent, but like these are people that like make all of our laws and do all the things, and they're taking him seriously and listening and asking questions. And he's saying, no, there are non-human life forms coming out of the ocean, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, thanks. We suspected that.
Noted.
That's crazy that they're
We'll
even
write
like
that one down.
entertaining that and not being like, sir, you need to be committed. They're literally like taking his account seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, we've only explored 5% of the ocean. Well, so I think like if they wanted to monitor us, that would be a good place to hide, right? Like it's so deep in there and we don't know anything about it. And you can go so far down where like sunlight can't even reach.
So how are they going to monitor us?
You seem really skeptical.
No, because like how are they going to monitor us if they're all the way down there? They can barely see.
They come out in their UFOs. That's what the guy has witnessed.
Oh, they just
is
live
seeing
down
these
there.
things. Yes, and they have tech, and it's unclear whether however they are is like more fish-like, where they can literally like breathe underwater, or maybe they have technology that we definitely don't, where they can submerge all the way down, and then all the way deep down there in the 95% of the ocean that we have yet to explore, they have like a whole thing. Like their technology is so much more advanced. Because he was saying also something too, that like we have like airplanes and rockets and stuff that can go at a certain amount of G-force. And then once you hit a certain G-force, like if you're a human inside, like you will die. That's just, your body can't take that much pressure and going that fast. And these objects go like so much more fast that it would put thousands and thousands of more pressure if there was like a human in there. So like their technology is just legitimately like thousands, if not millions of years further along. I don't think so, because I don't think they're really like doing anything. I genuinely think they're either just hanging out doing their thing, and they don't even care about us because we're so stupid. Like to us, like we're like ants to them, or they're monitoring us to make sure we don't blow each other up. So like we should probably stop doing that. We don't know what's going on down there. 95%. We don't know. Isn't that like that figure really blows my mind.
No, it is crazy. I don't know what to think because it doesn't seem like it's a real threat at the moment. So until
not a
start,
threat.
like,
I just
really,
think it's super interesting. Like,
yeah.
And the fact that like parts of our government are taking these accounts really seriously, and like it's being like pretty understood now that like they know a lot more than they're telling us, which I feel like used to be a wild conspiracy theory, and now it's like, oh no, our government knows about the aliens. They're just keeping that one to themselves right now. But I think in our lifetime we're actually going to like know more about them,
hopefully.
Which really excites me. I think that's really fun.
I know, though.
Super fun and cool.
Full circle. If like our whole lives we were made
Full
to be
circle
told
from what?
Just like growing up, like thinking that it's like just a story.
Impossible.
And
Yeah,
it's like it's just in a movie. It's not real. It's whatever. Well, I told you in my old age, like everything that like I was afraid of as a little kid, you grow up and it just becomes real.
Mm-hmm. Right,
like the pandemic,
invasion.
I was like, oh, I literally never thought that was just a movie, Contagion. No, it was real. Like there's so many things that like you just think are not going to happen and then they do. So this really would come full circle if aliens just started coexisting with us.
Yeah, I don't think they're scary, or at least they don't seem that scary. But yeah, I don't know. That's the rabbit hole I've been kind of going down. And then there's like all these other, like, because it's not just like this whole thing. Then you go down on these TikTok rabbit holes of like all these theories that like these ancient civilizations had contact with different aliens, and that's why like Egypt was so advanced. It's also, some people say there's like all these different species, like the small grays are like small gray aliens the way you would think about it. And then there's the Nordic something, which they're really tall, but they're like all like, they look very human like, but they're really pale. They like have like silver white hair and like super pale. They call them the Nordic whites. I don't know.
I gotta get on alien TikTok. So maybe send me a couple of the videos, and then my algorithm will start giving me. Now I'll be Liam Payne and aliens for the foreseeable future.
Sound off on the ocean alien stuff, because I clearly obviously don't know all the details, but I think it's interesting. And if you guys know more, let me know. Okay.
All right. Well, I think those are all the topics we have for this week.
What an unusual sound off. I feel like we took things in directions that we don't normally
because we started weird. We started with the technical difficulties. I feel like I'm all off today, but hopefully this comes out okay. Later this week, we are going to drop our first like standard Bachelor She's All Batch episode in a really long time. I already have some Bachelor encounters in the vault, but if you want to send one, DM me at She's All Batch. And then we are off for Thanksgiving. Well, we'll see you later this week, and then we'll say bye. We'll say bye then. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Is that it, Jackie?
I think that's it.
Goodbye, bitches.